welcome option 1 to your 2020 forecast reading. So what's going to happen for you in general in 2020? Went ahead and shuffled cards and laid them all out. We're looking at tarot and oracle cards today. So my general feeling of the spread is that you are going to be bucking tradition here, okay? You're going to be finding balance and stability in your own voice after enduring some pain. And you gain clarity in 2020 about some unfair treatment that you've received, and someone took something from you, okay? But in 2020, you no longer care about being fair to this person anymore, okay? You're over fighting and competing and trying. You are going to be your own master from now on. So this is what I'm getting. That's for starters. Let's get a little deeper into this. So the card representing you in 2020 is the Hierophant in reverse, and you could be a Taurus, have Taurus energy, or have it in your chart but don't have to be. And this is where I was talking about you really reevaluating or reassessing your position in life, okay? Because you're tired of the old ways of doing things, whether those ways come from the people around you, your work, your religion, your culture. These things no longer serve your needs, and you want to live by whatever philosophy or belief structure resonates with your true nature, and even if that puts you in conflict with other people. So for some, your faith is being challenged in some way. So you're going to reevaluate the things you've taken for granted up until now. But you're doing all of this in order to be your own person. Okay? So in 2020, with regards to money, you might be less focused on money. You might be more, this card says you're going to be more into your spiritual path. For some of you, the opposite could be true. It could indicate, perhaps being a little cocky in financial areas, or having the attitude that you don't need to play by the rules because you're above all that. So you just want to be careful not to, become all spendy in a rebellious way in 2020 if you're tempted to do so. But I feel like, this is talking about your spirituality increasing. And with regard to your job, it says that you're going to be questioning authority, which is kind of what I said about doing your own thing and really sort of bucking tradition, and that includes even in the workplace. Okay, so you don't like your limitations in your workplace, and you might actually even leave an organization that you feel isn't up to your standards or in alignment with your values anymore. Okay, and as it pertains to love, you may feel trapped in a relationship due to things like tradition, or that you feel like someone in your connection holds more power, or is like overly judgmental or dogmatic, and you long to break away from that. So what's going to be the challenge here with what you're doing? We've got the Two of Swords is crossing the Hierophant in reverse, and I'm really getting this energy of you just going within and listening to your inner voice. Now, it could be about making a decision, but I feel like it's about finding something that works for you and using your inner voice to decide that. So you're going to sort of combine your strength, combine your resources to have more faith in yourself and more courage. Perhaps you're going to rely on a friend or two to help you through conflicts or any imbalances in your life in general. And you're really just going to be drawing not only on your intuition, but your intellect as well. So I feel like, if there's any decisions, and it sounds like there will be, that you're going to be making in 2020, you're going to call on both intuition and intellect. And it looks like, even though in this card she's wearing a blindfold, I feel like most of you will be taking your blindfold off and looking at your situation really honestly. And that's why you're going to be coming into your power here. So I feel like, with regards to money, you're going to be trusting your wisdom and your inner guidance, and excuse me, listening to both logic and intuition regarding handling your finances. I feel like, at work, we already did see some confusions or conflict with regard to values or work-related issues. And I feel like you're going to have faith in your own judgment on how to handle any conflicts there. Perhaps this is saying that you'd like a job that combines, more imagination with intellect as opposed to something that you're doing now, but take what resonates. And with regard to love, again, it's talking about listening to both your heart and your mind. And it can show that any partners that you're with in 2020 hold conflicting perspectives to you. Um, Perhaps some of you are going to try to resolve this harmoniously with this person, but I feel like those efforts aren't going to be your primary focus in 2020. I feel like it's more about you coming in your power, listening to your inner voice. And a large part of that is because we have the Ten of Swords in reverse. So this is going to be informing your behaviors, your actions, your decisions, the moves that you make in 2020. As you can see on the card, this is somebody, with a bunch of swords sticking out of their back. So it's a painful card that represents exhaustion, giving up, some betrayal and pain. And with it being in reverse, it says that it's been really hard for you to take steps to move yourself to a better place after this heartbreak or betrayal. Whatever this suffering represents for you, it's going to be different for each of you, as so many people watch these readings. I think that perhaps for a while you have really deceived yourself, or maybe you fear that you've been deceiving yourself with regards to some life area, and that you've been making delays or delaying making changes or taking action, and as a result things got worse and created this Ten of Swords moment. So I feel like the time has come to stop making excuses and choose a new course of action. I feel like with this card here is saying, with regard to it could even be like a hardship or a loss with regard to your money or your finances. But this is saying, with it being in reversed, that those times are ending, better times await you around the corner, but you just need to make the first step. And it can also represent, insecurity at your job, or, dissatisfaction there as well, requiring you to take a risk. And I feel that most of you will. You'll stop letting the past prevent you from embracing new possibilities. And if it's talking about love, it's that you're smarting from some disappointment or deception, some betrayal. But this says that, at least you can see things clearly, and, a relationship is ending or has ended, and you're going to experience a new sense of freedom as a result of that. Okay? So those are going to be, this is where you're coming from. This is what you're dealing with internally, that you're trying to make sense of, make decisions about. Considerations that you're making and taking with regards to your desire to break free. Because in the past, somebody dealt with you unjustly, with the Six of Pentacles in reverse. Could be that, a lover or a partner dealt with you unjustly, or it could be, that you lost money somehow. Could even be like family taking from you. Somebody took something from you here with this card. In the upright, it is about generosity and prosperity, but in the reverse, it's about unfair financial dealings or unreliable people, even like colleagues at your job. That'll resonate for some of you, or unpaid debts, perhaps that you owe or that others owe you. So something didn't materialize the way you'd hoped it would. Or if it did, there were a lot of strings attached that really hold you back. And I feel like, perhaps some of you relied on others for financial support, to keep you above water, to help you out financially. Or someone took advantage of your goodwill in that regard, taking advantage of you financially. So, with regards to money, it's saying that there was something happened that was questionable, some compromise that was made, or you felt obligated in some way, or you just didn't get the payoff that you thought that you would. Perhaps somebody owes you money, didn't pay it back, that sort of thing. And again, it does talk about some sort of disillusionment. For some of you, some disillusionment at your job regarding what they expect from you and your responsibilities there. And if it's talking about a love relationship, then it's saying, there's this inequality of a balance of power, right? We saw that with the Hierophant in reverse. That perhaps someone is dogmatic and stubborn and or has more power in the connection. So as a result, in the past your needs were not being met, or you weren't meeting your partner's needs. But take what resonates. I feel like most it's that your needs weren't being met, and you really needed to, and this. I feel like the majority of you definitely know that focusing excuse me, on the give and take in the relationship to support and encourage each other is what was needed in the past, but I don't really feel like that's what's happened. And so, like I said, I think that that there's been this imbalance with regard to give and take in some life area, and you don't want to deal with that anymore. With the chariot, when it's upright, is talking about being in control of conflict or like opposing forces. But when it's in reverse, it's more about just feeling out of control. And I feel like sometimes being a little bit out of control is good when you're trying to break away from things that no longer serve you, old ways of doing things. And so I feel like that's kind of what you're looking for. You're willing to take risk here. If it means, breaking away from, being taken advantage of, being hurt. You may be feeling like you're pulled in different directions and that the stress is intense, but I feel like you're up to that. I think that for a lot of you, you're just giving in. You're not trying to be in control of the situation anymore. You're more focused on your own path in life and doing what resonates with your soul and what's right for you. And so you're really just focused on tuning in your own inner guidance and knowing that by doing that, that's how you're going to get what you want out of life. Instead of trying to control these outside factors, and instead of trying to be the peacemaker all the time or doing things quote unquote the right way, you're just wanting to be more in touch with yourself. So I feel like, whatever solution you come to, it will be, a compromise. But it's a risk that you're willing to take. Because if it's talking about money, then it's saying, that some of these losses could have occurred as a result of some confusion or inattentiveness, not paying attention to what was going on. Or perhaps, some sort of lack of confidence led to lending money to the wrong person or in making a poor choice in some other way. Or maybe you felt rushed to help someone out and as a result you lost money over it. And if it's talking about your workplace, it can say, just feeling overstressed and incapable of controlling the situation. That, perhaps, your workplace left your head spinning and you just weren't getting your needs met. You weren't feeling fulfilled. It was just all work and no play there, and you want to use more of your imagination and creative abilities now. You just felt pulled in too many directions. And with regards to love, this is all about, differences of opinion and lifestyles, differences in values causing tension in a relationship. So I feel like these changes have really thrown you off guard and you don't know, how to handle the situation. But I think, you would prefer this energy than trying to pretend like you have it all together anymore. Like trying to pretend like you're in charge, like constantly trying to enforce your will to drive things in the direction that you want it to go when it doesn't want to go that way. Okay? Perhaps you were involved with two people romantically, or someone you were involved with was involved with two people romantically. And this created the conflict. And, it could be that you want to be involved with someone else now because the person that you were involved with, you're kind of over it. They've done you dirty and you're over it. And the way that you move forward now is embracing this chaos and surrendering a bit, surrendering this need to control. And ironically, that's what brings you into control. Because in your future, we have this Emperor energy. So that's Aries energy. Could be in your chart, but doesn't have to be. For some of you, it might represent a male or masculine in your life, or a father figure, but doesn't have to. I'm looking at it more like you coming into your leadership, into your like material success in 2020, having more material success and more maturity from everything that you've been through. So coming in your own like worldly power, you know, you are, uh, and like I said, in a way, you're surrendering and not trying to enforce your will anymore. And as a result, you've gone from being demanding, which is childish, to commanding, which is adult and mature. Now take what resonates. I'm not calling you childish. I'm trying to make a point here that by surrendering, you become more courageous to fight for what you believe in and to protect yourself. And through doing that, you're able to teach others, and they can learn from you. And if you're in charge of others, if you have kids or coworkers, friends around you, they're going to learn a lot from watching you own your authority this way. And if you are in charge of anybody, then you treat them fairly. And so this does talk about a positive relationship with the father figure as well. And with regard to your money, resources, possessions, it says that you will get back on track with that and succeed financially, and that in 2020, you're going to be making and managing your money very well. So it could talk about success in a legal matter, but also with regards to like work, business. So many of you will be leaving your jobs, and you will be finding a better job. And you're going to be handling, regardless if you stay at your current job or get a different job, you're going to be handling your responsibilities and your professional life successfully. Because you are showing up here as a capable and confident leader, and someone that others can look up to. And you want to create something, produce something that has lasting value and real importance in the material world. So I feel like a lot of you are en route to be becoming some sort of authority at your workplace. Perhaps a manager or getting a promotion, something like that. So where you're going to take charge rather than follow someone else's rule. Even if you don't get a promotion, you're still going to take charge and be independent in your workplace. And for a few of you, this could actually represent a new person. We saw with the Chariot in reverse that perhaps you're choosing someone else over your current partner or previous partner. And this person could be, if they're in the Emperor energy, this represents a mature and stable relationship. Perhaps one that's more based on, practical concerns like money and status, but still passion with it as well, because the Aries is a passionate fire sign. But just know that practical concerns will be important to this person, as this is an emperor, right? Emperor governs a country or governs their empire. Therefore, they are concerned with the details of everyday business and life. But it does indicate a loyal and committed partnership. So for those of you that resonates for. And your state of mind, about all of this in 2020, or your approach, is that you're just done having your heart broken, right? That's really pretty much in line with everything that we've seen so far with that Five of Cups in reverse. When that Five of Cups is upright, is talking about, an emotional loss. But when it is in reverse, it's less painful. And your approach to 2020 is that, while you might not be exactly certain on all the details on how to handle like losses or disappointments, you are still going to be, moving away from the hurt and making a new life for yourself. So this is a card of healing, and it represents, acknowledging the struggles that have made you stronger. And so whatever losses that you've endured, or setbacks that you've endured financially, I feel like those losses are ending, and you will gain again in the future. If there's been disappointment or anger, sadness at your job, if things didn't go the way that you hoped there, instead of, grouching or be complaining, bemoaning the situation is a waste of energy, just focus on what you've learned from that experience, and that will help you in the future. In regards with love, I feel like you're just ready to let bygones be bygones and realize that when one door closes, another door opens. And in your environment, so regarding like the people or circumstances around you or in your environment, you're going through quite some changes here. So there will be some disharmony or instability in your environment with that Temperance card in reverse, just due to whenever you take your power back and you start exerting or your own authority, and when you're pulling your energy back from people who are used to taking advantage of you, that can cause some disruption. And I feel like that's what that card is saying, but I don't think that should stop you by any means. So there's some some imbalance in your environment in 2020. But all that you can do is let that work itself out. That's not your responsibility. You are your responsibility. Okay. In time, matters around you will settle down and work themselves out. So be patient with anybody who's unsettled by these positive changes that you're making in your life. And don't try to force, things to work out or inharmonious factors together, because that will just, lead to poor results, create more bad feelings. This is a card about mixing, that warns against mixing oil and water. So I feel like, the people in your environment might be tempted to try to force you to behave back the way you were behaving before, to do what they want you to do or accept less than what you're worth. And perhaps some of them will even be like a little extreme in their reactions to you. But that's just going to backfire on them if they act like that. So don't let that suck you in, okay? I feel like, people around you might be hurting financially. But again, you are guided to put yourself first. I feel like, for some of you, you have given out loans, and haven't been paid back. So you just want to be conservative when dealing with these people who might be spending, their money carelessly and plunge themselves into debt. Just let them work that out for themselves. And I feel like professionally, there are going to be people around you who aren't going to be using their time as efficiently as you are. So they might not be, willing to cooperate with you that much. But as I said before, you're in a leadership position. So I feel like you can take the high road and sort of, avoid getting sucked into any, professional pickles, or any trouble with those around you who are having difficulties with their responsibilities. Their responsibilities, again, are their responsibilities. And, if you got a lover that you're dealing with, I feel like you're going to leave someone behind in 2020 and that you're going to have someone else. But this card is saying with regard to love, probably this person that you're getting rid of, is going to have extreme emotions or try to provoke an argument with you or provoke a standoff with you. Try to engage your ego. And that's going to get in the way of some harmony and happiness with regard to you and your life here. Don't get sucked into that either. Also, with somebody new, you might be tempted to rush into a relationship, or they're going to try to rush you. That'll only cause tension and frustration. Don't allow that to happen either, okay? So those are some of the things that's going to be around you in 2020. Sort of what you need to know here in 2020 is the Nine of Cups in reverse. So it's just saying, be careful of overindulging, overspending, excesses of any kind. You are going to be doing very well for yourself. You are going to be breaking free from traditions or old ways of being that didn't serve you. You are going to be leaving people behind and elevating yourself in every life area for the most part, for most of you. So just be cautious not to be smug about that. Don't be smug about your accomplishments, this card is saying. There might be coming to the forefront some error that you make in some life area here, especially if you were the one that took advantage of someone. None of us are perfect. We're all humans. So if that happens, there's a chance that could come to the forefront. So be warned about that. But again, for a lot of you, I feel like this is about you turning away from the material world and following a more spiritual path, like we saw before. So you're just cautioned in 2020 not to spend more than you make, and Because if you do that, or if you fudge around with your money, you might, create errors that going to get found out eventually. So, like a overdraft fee, stuff like that, that's possible, okay? And with regards to your job, then, you might be tempted to play a little bit too much because you are in a leadership position doing well, because you are marching to the beat of your own drummer, and you are doing something that's a bit more fun for you, I feel. That you might be tempted to, play when you should be working. But this card is guiding you not, just to be cautious about that. You can have fun on the job, but you got to still get your things done, your work done, and be responsible. And beware of, people at your job too that might be a bit unscrupulous. That might be like this guy on the card in reverse. They might be seeming like good allies, that you can align yourself with, but, be cautious about their character. Because they could get you involved in work situations you don't want to be involved in. Just a little bit, you have a little bit of an unscrupulous energy, I'm getting. That'll apply for a couple of you, maybe not all of you, but take what resonates. And with regards to love, you need to know also that you might be tempted, some of you, to be a little bit insensitive to a new partner who's coming in because of the pain that you suffered from this previous partner. I do see that most of you are letting somebody go, having somebody else coming into your life. So you might be a little bit frivolous with that person. You want to kind of just be self-aware enough to know what your motivation is behind. Is that to keep this person at arm's length because you've been hurt in the past? Make sure you question your motives if you feel like, being too cold or distant with the new person. They're not the ones that hurt you, okay? While you always want to be cautious with anybody that you're getting to know, you also want to give them a chance and be fair as well, right? And I know you kind of got this rebellious energy going on, and I feel for the most part that's really serving you. But with regard to love, this is saying to be a little bit, more sensitive. And if you're being insensitive towards somebody or not taking them seriously, make sure that that's really what you want to be doing, and that it's not something that you're going to regret later. Because this person could turn out to be really a great person. Because you don't want to push them away, unnecessarily. And also, if you want to play around on somebody, that could come to light. If you committed indiscretion with this new person or with somebody that you're involved with romantically, that could come to the light too. Okay, so just be cautious of that. And also know, I'm not really getting that somebody's going to mess around on you, because sometimes this card in reverse can talk about promiscuity or messing around. I don't get that this new person, maybe the old person would, but this new person isn't likely to mess around on you. But if they did do you wrong somehow, it would come to the light. You would find that out. Okay? But don't be overly focused or worried about that. And make sure that, if you're keeping somebody at arm's length, it's for good reason. So in the outcome for 2020, the likely outcome, is the Knight of Cups, which is a pretty positive card to have, as your outcome here. Because the Knight of Cups talks about a lot of you are going to be traveling in 2020. So you're going to be, for those of you who are going to be free from family situations or relationship situations that held you back, bogged you down, you're no longer going to have that weighing on you, and you're going to be able to travel and move about and really have a good time. Really engage in some of your ideals, get in touch with your hopes and dreams that you may have put by the wayside while you're doing other things, while you're worried about other people, while other people are taking too much from you, while you've been giving too much to other people, you haven't been giving to yourself. I feel like you're really going to be giving to yourself in 2020. Giving to yourself, you're going to experience romance for the most part. Most of you are going to experience, true romance here. But for the most part, it's going to be romantic communication, some getting out and about, moving about more, even just within your own city, just experiencing new things, having new experiences, being flirtatious. This is going to be a change, I feel, for you. Like, if you're getting this reading and it's resonating, this everything I just described is going to be a change for you. And it could indicate taking a vacation, perhaps with this new lover that I see coming in. So it's whatever changes this card can indicate, it's usually a pleasant one. And it can talk about an invitation or an offer. Sometimes, with this Knight, if it's representing a person, it's Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Somebody could have that in their chart, but doesn't have to be. They might have these traits, though. This particular Knight is someone who makes promises they can't always deliver on, okay? Because this is a dreamer here. So they might not be the most practical or the most doable, but they are fun. Just, have your expectations in check and be aware of that, okay? He's someone that could be a bit immature, but a lot of fun. Perhaps somebody that's unsure of their feelings, and, they might be likely to bolt at the first sign of difficulty, though. This could even be representing you, viewer. This is kind of the vibe that I'm getting, with this energy, this coming into your own after a while of being bogged down, and now you might be like just out for a good time, wanting to have fun, wanting to experience new things in romance, maybe thinking that you're wanting a serious connection, but maybe you're more in this younger energy of the Knight of Cups. You don't know. We'll see, right? In 2020, we'll see how it plays out. But you might be feeling this way in 2020, and you might be somebody who's very fascinating, but someone who is not ready for something serious, and that might be just fine. So again, you're being cautioned to, be careful with your money and your possessions. That there will be a change in your finances, and it looks like it's mostly going to be good. Or you might be receiving good news regarding your finances. Again, this is talking about using your creativity and your imagination more at your job, and perhaps traveling for your job, or even a relocation for work. I feel like, with regard to work, you're probably going to be more apt to get serious and commit yourself. I don't think you're going to have a problem with commitment with regards to your job. Maybe more so with relationships and romance, and that's understandable based on, what I'm seeing, what you've been through in this reading. And, if it is talking about an exciting romance, it's perhaps, just something that you should look at it as having fun. Enjoy yourself, but try not to lose your head. And if you're the artistic type, this could be you just wanting to have fun. And if it doesn't last long, it'll be your choice that it doesn't last long, because you're just wanting to have fun. Now, the oracle cards that I got for you here. Let's see which ones I want to start with. Yeah, the Release Your Ex card. Okay, this is why I was talking about, a lot of you are going to be releasing your ex. Somebody that did you dirty, that took from you, that didn't reciprocate your affections, or just in some way caused you hurt and pain. We see that, you're coming out of that energy. You're getting over that. It served its purpose to help wake you up to what you truly want. It helps you in a way to sort of liberate yourself, to break free, and to stop being so scared, and to listen to your inner voice. So those are all positive things. But ultimately, I feel like a lot of you will be releasing this person. The time has come to clear your energy. Now, I would tell you that if you need help releasing this person, go ahead and write a letter, say, of all the things that this person did wrong to you, and then lighting it on fire over a fireproof surface is a symbolic way of releasing that energy and releasing that person. But I'm really getting like you're already going to do this on your own. Like you've already made your decision to do that because you've listened to your inner voice and your desire to break free from a bad situation. But if you do need some help with healing, we've got the Magic of Nature card. Magic of Nature from the Healing with the Fairies Oracle. And the Magic of Nature says that, if you in 2020 feel depressed or lethargic, perhaps from this connection that you're leaving, or from any area in your life where you might feel depressed or lethargic, it's because you're disconnected from nature. So you're being guided with that card in 2020 to get out there on a regular basis, even as little as 5 minutes a day, and just get outside no matter what, and you'll get insights too. Like you'll get telepathic messages from your guides that'll help you in some life area at the time that you need it. But the most important thing is to allow yourself to experience nature, even for just as little as 5 minutes a day. Even just standing in the grass or near a tree. It doesn't even have to be like out in a park or any place in the country. Just go outside, look at the sky, breathe it in, and this will energize you, okay? And help you get over any hard feelings. And then we've got the Frog Prince, which talks about intimacy. And this is kind of the energy that I was getting from a lot of you here, that, because of what you've been through, you're going to have some intimacy issues here going forward in 2020. And the Frog Prince says that, even though you were treated unjustly and unfairly in the past, and even though you've had to take back your own power by saying to hell with whoever was treating me unfairly, I'm no longer going to toe the line for them. I'm no longer going to worry about their feelings and worry about treating them fairly since they didn't treat me fairly. I'm just going to do my own thing. All of that is positive in the sense that it's bringing you into your power, into this Emperor energy, and liberating you from this heartbreak, helping you heal. A little bit further into 2020, maybe about the midway point, could be a little bit, sooner, a little bit later, you want to start to refocus and think about, considering everyone equally, okay? Becoming fair again. Once you see that your life is improving, going more on the track that you want it to, where you're no longer being bogged down by anything or anyone that's taking advantage of you or hurting you in any way, then you can again consider everyone equally. And also, with this new love that's coming in, where you might not want to take them that seriously, although I do see them as probably somebody who would take you seriously. The intimacy card could be saying you should ask yourself, why are you keeping this person at a distance? Or if this isn't talking about this love interest, just people in general, why are you keeping them at a distance? Friends. Because intimacy doesn't only have to be about a sexual or romantic partner. It's also just about all your relationships with family and friends as well. Allowing people to see under your mask, see the real you. We all have a social mask to some degree, and that's normal. But intimacy is about letting people in. So if you're keeping people at a distance, ask yourself why. And just know that if you feel uncomfortable showing yourself, this card is saying intimacy requires discomfort at first, okay? If you feel a little uncomfortable showing yourself at first, just know that that's normal. That's not a sign that anything is wrong. Of course, you should always be discriminating, a little discriminating about who you open up to. But if you deem someone worthy of you opening up to them, they've shown you through their actions that they might be okay to do that with, then if you feel a little uncomfortable doing that, that's normal. And in 2020, you're going to grow. You are going to grow closer to loved ones. And I feel like it's going to be sooner than later that you're going to grow closer to loved ones. Probably friends at first and family, for a couple of you colleagues. But yeah, definitely closer to loved ones. And in 2020, you are guided with this card to share your feelings, your time, and your affection with others, with loved ones. Okay. And finally, your last message from the oracle cards is don't stop. Don't stop. Okay. Don't stop is saying that 2020 is not the time to give up. Continue moving towards your dreams, your hopes, and your plans, and you will see progress as long as you stay the course, because you are on the right path here. It might feel, with people being a little disgruntled at the changes that you're making and going through, the people or person that you're leaving behind, it might make you feel like guilty or something like that, or question you. Just know that you are on the right path. Stand your ground. Believe in yourself. Don't let others intimidate you into quitting, okay? So follow your heart even if other people don't get you or get what you're doing, okay? All right. I think that's all I got for you, option 1. So that's your future forecast for 2020. And I hope you found value in the reading. Thank you for watching. And if you'd like a personal reading, information is in the description box below. Readings are 10% off until the end of the year. And also, if you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so and hit the like button if you liked it. Leave me a comment if you would like to, and I will talk to you next time. Welcome, option 2, to your 2020 year-end forecast for this coming year of 2020. What's going to happen in all life areas. So I've got your cards shuffled and spread out using both tarot and various oracle cards today. So let's get started. To start off with, in 2020, you're showing up as the Six of Cups in reverse. So it's a reverse card, but since it's the Six of Cups, it's still a positive energy. And what it's saying is that, you are strengthening. You've become stronger due to some resistance that you've experienced. Perhaps you've had to cut your losses of something that hasn't been working for you anymore, because we've got the Nine of Wands in reverse crossing you. And as a result, you've strengthened your emotional muscles, okay? You're building on your past successes in 2020, and that's going to help you in your future a lot. So, there, even though you've strengthened and you've cut some losses of some things that no longer served you, you might be stuck reminiscing about the good old days, and you don't want to do that, as that prevents you from finding happiness in the present moment, okay? But yeah, it does look like you have cut some losses with that Nine of Wands crossing you, and that's what's getting you caught in the memories of the good old days, because you just felt that a situation wasn't going to improve, and that perhaps you thought it was like a losing battle, or this is what maybe some of you are contemplating now. Should you cut your losses about something because is it a losing battle? And you're thinking that maybe you need to move on to something else. So, regardless, I feel that you've become emotionally stronger, and you're going to learn the lessons from this situation, to chart a new course and to have a brighter future. Both of these cards talk about charting a new course and having a brighter future. Okay, so whatever this is that's crossing you, though, it could be that some investment didn't pay off, or you kept investing money into a bad venture that just eventually ended up being a money pit. Take what resonates. I'm reading for thousands of people, so part of the reading might resonate, another part might not. It can also talk about a job change. So perhaps some of you are embarking on a new career path, so that could have been you releasing a job or a position that you've been at for a long time, and this is what's sort of crossing you, or making you feel crossed, so to speak. So just know that you made the right decision if you did that, or if you're going to do that, as you felt stifled in that old position, and taking a new direction is really going to rekindle your passion in your profession. Okay, and if this is talking about love here, um, it can show, yeah, just the end of a relationship. Could have been that a partnership lost its glow and you just finished what you were meant to do together, and as a result you had to cut your losses for that. But sometimes you still think about that person and want them back. But for the most part, I feel that you've grown up. You kind of, for those of you who've left this person behind, or taken a time out from this person, you did that in the spirit of sort of just leaving childish romantic fantasies behind, and I feel, though, that there is a pull back to this person that you feel. For some of you, I can really feel that in my solar plexus, this deepening of feelings, because for some people, absence makes the heart grow fonder. Could be coming from your person, whoever this is, that your absence has made the heart grow fonder. So take what resonates on that, and if it applies, take it. If not, don't. But I feel like a deepening of your feelings, and as a result of that deepening of your feelings, you're going to take a more mature approach to a relationship. But you might be crossed by the fact that you did end it, or you were going to end it, and now you're having second thoughts, and so that's what's sort of creating this conflict here. But if it's not about a relationship, and if it's about your money, I feel like you might be clinging to a time in the past when your financial situation was brighter, and maybe you had, going into 2020, you really just didn't want to look at any of the new options, financially speaking, of these new revenue sources where you could attract more money through, including a new job for some of you, because you just weren't being very proactive. But that time is ending of not being proactive, okay, with regards to your money. And when it comes to the job, yeah, you're definitely releasing old responsibilities to move forward, um, And I feel like, there is a sense of longing. With this card, it's always about a sense of longing to do with the past. And so even with regard to your work, it's about longing for times in your career that offer, when you had more fun or more excitement or more money. Um, some of you, might be retirement age, or might be experiencing some of the retirement blues. But I doubt that that's many of you. Maybe just will resonate with one person. But it's that kind of sense with this card with regard to your work. So it's all about, reminiscing about the good old days in some sense, and feeling crossed by the fact that you had to put an end to something. You're in the process of letting go of something in order to have a brighter future. And this is like a choice or decision, um, that either you made or you have accepted as being, the right decision or the right choice, at this time. But it hasn't been easy. It could have been that some of you have experienced a divorce, or have moved, split with somebody that you lived with the Justice card. Um, there could have been some sort of legalities that you're going through that you're just getting over in 2020. But I feel like, um, justice is being served. What's happened up to now, everything I've just talked about, that was kind of like karma. It was meant to happen. Um, However, it has played a role, on how you view things going forward in your life. It is sort of the foundation, for what you're going to experience in 2020. This desire to experience equality, to have things go your way. Um, I'm getting eye for an eye for some of you. I don't know if that will apply or not. Basically, just talking, about wanting things to be really fair and really just. Maybe you have experienced or feel you've experienced some injustice in some life area, and you're really just wanting to see um, that come full circle, and for whoever has wronged you to get theirs. I feel like that's a subconscious drive for a lot of you. It's an influence for sure, something that, some justice that you want to see done here, some rectification. You want to see something made right. It also talks about a decision, making a balanced decision, and the desire to make balanced decisions going forward, and and being just, and listening to your inner guidance as well, looking within yourself, not really solely relying on the advice of others, but relying on your own inner guidance. Looking at everything, the facts, of a situation calmly and carefully, and weighing all the factors before, making action to reach some decision. And I feel like this is something that you did. This is, related to this thing that you're feeling a longing for that you had to end, okay? Whether it's the ending of a job or a relationship or something else. You really deliberated over it and feel that you made, the best decision that you could under the circumstances. Okay, and I feel like deep down you really do feel that things are going to proceed, more smoothly, more fairly. Um, there is a part of you that is really reasonable when it looks at whatever the situation is for you, about whatever karma has played out. There's a certain understanding that you have about it, and yeah, it again, if it's relating to like, a living together situation or a marriage that's ended, then it's talking about, or legal separation, it's talking about like dividing things, equitably or fairly, settling, financial matters, even if it's not about a relationship or a split. It could be about just, um, settling your financial matters, getting your finances in order. This is something that's going to be important to you in 2020. And also you're going to want to have, enough, enough money wise, and you're going to want to increase your earning, but you're also going to want to do it in an honest and fair way, right? With the Justice card being about fairness, and you're also going to be somebody who's going to be, sharing the wealth, whatever, wealth you experience. I feel like you're going to be open to sharing that with others, which is very positive. And so I feel like you feel that you have reached some sort of an amicable agreement, though, whether you when you leave this current job that you're at that's no longer serving you, if that's what applies to your situation, or a relationship that's no longer serving you, you're going to feel like it's done in the right way. Okay? Um, or at least, subconsciously you do desire harmoniousness in a situation, whatever these are representing, cooperation, the resolution of problems. You want things to be fair with regards to responsibilities, rewards, any sort of labor that needs to be done. You're all about being fair, particularly like in the workplace. And if it's talking about, your recent past going into 2020 with regards to a love relationship, again, it is also about being fair and adjusting your behavior to create a more equitable situation. And perhaps the desire for marriage, or some sort of a contractual agreement like the signing of a lease. Okay? So, in the past going forward, this is the foundation from which you're going into 2020. That's why it's relevant to bring it up in a future forecast reading. We've got the Queen of Cups in reverse. So this is sort of where you're coming from. Queen of Cups in reverse is somebody who's had their feelings hurt. This is somebody, regardless of gender, who is letting their emotions rule them. Okay, so if this is talking about you, yes, you do desire justice in a situation. You want things to play out fairly. However, you do have a tendency to let your emotions rule your head, and that prevents you from seeing things clearly. So perhaps that's why you have this subconscious desire of being of wishing to tap into that part of you that is more fair and more just and more objective, because of this past tendency that you've had to be a little bit overly idealistic or a little bit fearful. Perhaps you've shut yourself off due to fear. Okay? If this is representing somebody in your life, this person could have been undependable or indiscriminate, very, very sensitive or manipulative. Or it could talk about, if it's not talking about a person, it's talking about a situation that was unstable. So perhaps that's why this had to end. That's why you experience some sort of an ending here, so that things could get better, because they were unstable in the past. And money wise, as you can imagine with this energy, if it's unstable in general, it's kind of unstable with regard to money, talking about being impractical in financial matters. So somebody that spends more than they can afford, or gives too much to others, too generous with others. Maybe you trusted in someone, a financial advisor or someone else that didn't deserve your trust, took advantage of it. And if it's talking about your job, it's that you're, feeling unstable at your job for the fact of feeling emotionally or creatively unfulfilled. So it could be that some of you were a little unrealistic about your abilities or of the demands of a job. Perhaps some of you took a job on that you thought that you could do, and then found out that, perhaps you weren't quite up to it, but take what resonates. If it doesn't fit, don't take it. But it can talk about the demands of a job being too much for someone, and having to face the fact that maybe, it wasn't the right fit for you after all. But, yeah. You can also talk about sneaky things in the workplace as well. And again, regarding love, it can say that a relationship has soured, and possible infidelity occurred. Somebody could have cheated, and if that doesn't resonate, then perhaps it just means that you or your partner were hiding your feelings. Going into 2020, you're coming from a place of hiding your feelings, or they were hiding their feelings, and they needed to be more open and trusting. Okay, because it could be as simple as that, right? Perhaps that was the way in which you were unfair. Could be. Or for those of you who resonate with wanting things to be fair, because things were not fair before. This whatever it is that was causing you to want to cut your losses, feeling that a situation wouldn't improve, or surrounding all of these lessons here. So what you know now, I think in 2020, what you're going to know is that you have a lot of options. Okay, we've got the Seven of Cups talking about your goals and your ideals. And your ideals, they might be a little bit on the materialistic side. Take what resonates, but that card can talk about being materialistic. As you can see, this person's on there looking at various different things that there's like a victory, what is that, a victory wreath, or there's a pot of gold and just various, items. So you're contemplating, in a more broader sense, you're just contemplating the different options that you have available to you now. And so I feel like your goal is to really sort of consider your possibilities, your potential to use your imagination to sort of make your fantasies more into a reality in 2020. There are going to be, excuse me, many paths, many choices that are available to you. And you're probably going to have a little bit of trouble deciding among them. Because, nothing is going to be really certain, but it's good to have options. So this card is saying to let your intuition as well as your intellect guide you, okay? Let both of them guide you, your intuition and your intellect. And so just you're guided to be cautious with this card regarding financial matters, as it could say that you are being a little bit idealistic with your money in 2020. There's a potential for that, at some point throughout the year. Some of your ideas for making money might be very valid and workable, and some of them may be pure fantasy. So it's up to you to decide which is which. So make sure you're seeing things clearly with regard to your money and whatever ventures you're considering. And so with regard to your occupation, again, lots of options. You are guided with this card to really realize your abilities and the possibilities are open to you in 2020. You don't want to sell yourself short regarding your work. You do want to do something that's in alignment with your skills and that brings you inspiration, perhaps something creative. But you also, don't want to be too unrealistic with your marketability. Okay, I do think that you are marketable, but you want to find a balance, a happy medium there. Regarding your work life, to examine your choices carefully, especially if something seems too good to be true, okay? And romantically speaking, you very well, desire, I feel like ideally what you would like is a highly emotional relationship with someone who inspires you. Maybe you're looking for that inspiration in romance, the inspiration that you're lacking in some other life area, perhaps in your work life, you're lacking inspiration, but it doesn't have to be. But particularly with romance, this card can be saying that you have a goal or a desire to have someone in your life who inspires you and who is in touch with their emotions. And so if you're currently not in a relationship, you are really thinking about what it is that you really want and what's really going to make you happy in a relationship. And I feel like that's going to carry over into 2020, indulging in your fantasies regarding, the perfect partner, okay? Very high ideals going into 2020 regarding love. So, in 2020, we've got the three of Pentacles here. And the Three of Pentacles is in reverse, so it says there's going to be some sort of a lack of cooperation in your future. When that card is upright, it talks about, creativity, skills, particularly with regard to work, gaining rewards from your skills and your creativity and self-expression. And when it's in reverse, it can say that you're not making the most of your abilities. So, again, there's a sense of needing to make the most of your abilities. Not selling yourself short. It could be that you're lacking confidence or you can't find a way to use your talent. So this card is saying, you're going to be developing new skills to compete in a rapidly changing place, like workplace or marketplace. So you're going to perhaps be doing some self-study, learning, reading books, taking classes, whatever the case may be. You might be inspired, some of you, to do that to increase your marketability. And so I feel like, there will be some concerns with regard to money if you don't start developing your confidence with regards to your skills, if you don't start developing your skills to compete in a competitive environment. That's going to be necessary for some of you. Some of you just need to improve your confidence. But If you don't do that, then you might not receive as much as you want for your work, or get that raise that you really want, at least not in the first part of 2020 or the first half. And with regards to your job, it could say that, you might not be receiving the recognition or the rewards, that you deserve for your efforts. So that could be that coworkers or clients may interfere with your success in some way, or some delay may occur. So just be prepared and knowledgeable that that's a possibility for some of you. Um, And with regard to love, this is saying that you could be feeling unappreciated by a partner in 2020. Perhaps you've invested a lot in a relationship, but the efforts aren't paying off, or your partner doesn't reciprocate the way that you think that they should. So possibly an earth sign, Taurus, a Virgo, Capricorn, but doesn't have to be. But this is likely why you are really focusing on your options and sort of trying to figure out what it is that you really want, so that you can have the justice that you're seeking with regard to your work and your love lives. Because I do see that your approach is about healing from something, okay? Healing from whatever this ending is here, with the Five of Cups in reverse. That is a card of healing, and it's pretty negative in the upright, but in reverse it's less painful, as it does say that, even though you might not be 100% certain on how to handle some sort of a disappointment or some sort of a loss, you're moving away from that hurt, and you're making a new life for yourself. And we've already seen that in this reading here, right? Opportunities, options, considering different strategies on how to improve on your skill set and move forward. So it's okay to acknowledge, we all struggle, so it's, fair, and it's okay to acknowledge your struggles, and that those struggles have made you stronger. And I feel like you've already grown, very much emotionally speaking, already going into 2020. And that's going to continue to be your approach going forward, being this person who's come through the fire and made it out the other side and is stronger as a result of that. So whatever losses, that have occurred, whether it's like in your, with regards to your money, you're going to recover from that. Because just because you've undergone some setbacks, and it looks like there might be a setback or two here in 2020 regarding your finances, this doesn't mean that you won't gain in the future. And that goes for your job as well. It did look like there was some issues with some coworkers or clients potentially. Let go of that anger, sadness, and disappointment. This card is saying, because you don't want to waste your energy feeling bad about that. Just take what you've learned from that experience. That'll help you in your future, and so you want to let bygones be bygones with regards to any work trouble, and with regards to romance as well. When one door closes, another door opens, and that's going to be your approach in 2020. You really are going to be rising above it, letting bygones be bygones, forgiving and forgetting to the extent that's going to allow you to move forward in a positive way as a stronger person. And in your environment, I'm seeing another earth sign card. Could be a masculine earth sign, Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn, that you'll be dealing with. This is somebody in your environment. Could be a boss or a father. This is an older energy, but perhaps an old soul, not necessarily old in age. But this is representing people or circumstances, or the situations that are surrounding you in 2020, which is a very positive card regarding money. So even though the first part, you might feel undervalued, and your money might not be what you want it to be, going forward towards the end of 2020, your money should really pick up with this King of Coins here. The King of Coins, or King of Pentacles, is, if you can see, he's holding a gold coin, so that's a symbol of prosperity and financial success. And that's certainly going to be around you in 2020. Somebody that has some security. If this is representing a person, it's a very practical, pragmatic person, a strong person, a stable person. If it's like I said, it could be a business leader or a boss, or a father figure, like I said, and somebody that you can depend on for support or advice in practical area. So if you do have concerns about investments or how to manage your money in 2020, then this is somebody that you can go to for advice, as they offer a lot of good common sense career and work advice, okay? Even regarding like finances, practical matters, property, stuff like that. This is someone who's showing up in a secure position, okay, who've made investments that should pay off here. They're pretty good. If they work for like a corporation or an organization, they're in good standing, perhaps like the pillar of the community, this person. And yeah, just somebody that has a lot of resources, knows how to use them wisely, and from whom you can learn quite a bit about these matters from. And if it's potential romantic partner, it can indicate a mature and stable relationship where you support one another, okay? Because it sometimes can show a relationship that's based more on money, status, and security. But let's face it, that is a part of any solid, well-rounded romantic relationship anyway. But this person or this energy is going to be around you in 2020. So it's a pretty solid, grounded, prosperous energy overall. And what the universe wants you to know here, and is another king, but this king is in reverse. So for some of you, you might be dealing with the masculine earth sign energy, who's very positive influence in 2020, and others you might be dealing with fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius energy, who is going to be more of a negative influence in 2020 if it represents, an actual person here. But let's look into this. So yeah, this is what the universe wants you to know. The King of Wands, when he is upright, is a good omen, generally speaking. But when he's in reverse, it can talk about, there being some delays, or your success isn't as great as you'd hope for. So again, it's about keeping those ideals in check. Yes, you can fantasize and everything, but just, make sure that you know the difference between what is real and what is not. What is fantasy and what is reality, what is reasonable and what isn't. It's not to say that you can't have many of the things that you want in 2020 or be prosperous. It's just saying, that if you have your hopes too high, the success that you get might be, disappointing. It's still success, though. But again, if this is representing a real person, it could be someone who is not as available to you, or who can't help you even if he wants to. It could be somebody whose loyalties lie elsewhere, somebody who's committed to another. It's probably not a dishonest or irresponsible person, but he's not going to be the most forthcoming or to tell you things. He won't be that open with you. So if it's talking about, a potential romantic partner, it could be, somebody that for whom, you're starting to lose your interest in, or there's some waning enthusiasm in the connection. And if that doesn't resonate, it could just be talking about someone who you meet that you're really excited about initially, but that the romance is really slow to get started. And possibly that could be because this person is committed to another. So that's what you need to know from the universe, okay? Yeah, I just feel like this is talking about waiting, even with regards to like your money. There's a certain amount of waiting regarding that as well. And if there's some work project that you're working on, you might actually have to work a little bit harder than expected to get it done. Yeah. If you work in a creative field, you might be really excited about certain details or aspects of a project that you're working on, and then your boss or the higher ups end up not agreeing with those aspects or details. It might edit something out that you really liked about your project that might resonate for one or two people. So that's what you need to know from the universe. And your outcome for 2020, likely outcome, is the Hierophant card. It's Taurus energy. And I feel that most of you who this reading is resonating with, are going to become more spiritual in 2020. There's a Hierophant card, talks about spirituality. It talks about engaging in the spiritual community, or engaging in activities like church activities, or within your religion. And it talks about spiritual leadership. And perhaps, some of you will be dealing with a person like this, getting some guidance or mentoring in the spiritual realm from some sort of a spiritual leader. It could be, definitely means that you're going to be getting more spiritual. But regardless, even if you don't look at it as spiritual, if you say that's not really me, I'm not that type of person um, that gets, goes to church or engages like that, it could mostly be saying, that you're going to be choosing to live according to your own personal beliefs, um, with more commitment, as this is a card of commitment. Okay, so for the first part of 2020, you're going to be looking at what it is you really value, what you really want. You're going to be basing it on things that you have experienced in the past hurts, and the desire to be fair, the desire to be both logical as well as check in with your emotions, but not let your emotions override your logic, kind of using both of them to make decisions about how you want to proceed going forward, about healing, about getting your money together, about all life areas, even romance. And those are the beliefs that you're going to be becoming really committed to as 2020 goes on, okay? And I feel like you're going to attract to you people who share some of those beliefs, who can back you up, who can support you in those beliefs and support you in achieving your goals in other life areas as well, okay? And as time goes on, you could be achieving a leadership position in some life area amongst your friends, or perhaps at work, in your family, or in your spiritual community. Take what resonates. Okay? So, I feel like, as time goes on, you are going to become, a bit more traditional in 2020, perhaps regarding your resources, regarding your money. Some of you could work with like nonprofit or religious organizations, or establish that. Um, and some of you could just not be worried about money, very much at all as 2020 proceeds. You're going to be just focused more on spirituality, although spirituality and uh, materiality materialism and spirituality are not mutually exclusive, meaning that it's a mistake to think that you can't have one and the other. You can have them both. You should have them both. They're both part of each other. But often, when people are getting more interested in their spirituality or their spiritual life, they're not as interested in material things. Okay. And so that could be, for some of you, something that you experience. But I think a lot of you will just be getting more conservative with regard to your money, and more traditional with regard to how you handle your resources. And, once you find a good job that you like to work at, if, for those that have left or ended a position, and have looked for something else, and you will find a place, or even for those of you who are staying in a current position, what's going to end up happening is that um, there could be some rigidity at that job, that requires you to follow the rules in order to succeed. So just bear that in mind. Or, yeah. Or some of you could be doing work that employs your intuition and your spiritual gifts or spiritual skills, like, tarot reading, or um, life coach, things like that. Take what resonates. But that's what that card can be saying here. And also can represent, education system for those of you who might be in school in 2020, or considering taking a class. I think I alluded to perhaps taking a class to advance your skills, so that you can move ahead in your work life. It seems to be some sort of a confidence issues with regard to your skills, that has you being undervalued at a current position that I feel that most of you will be moving away from. Perhaps you'll do that by pursuing some classes, something like that, even self-study. And, for those of you who are in a relationship going into 2020, or who will be getting into a relationship going into 2020, and I did pull a couple Romance Angels card. We'll look at those in a minute. This can talk about a relationship that's based on based on tradition, a more traditional relationship based on structure, but also one that's based on a spiritual path that you have a spiritual connection with. So, um, you may be with someone for spiritual reasons. Um, I know that some of you might have had experienced an ending with someone, and for some of you, you feel like you've grown up and left childish, fantasies behind, but others of you, absence of, made the heart grow fonder, and I feel like that's true for your person too. And for those that resonates with, this is saying that that's part of your spiritual journey uh, today or in 2020, as part of your karma, that you and your partner are actually serving a higher cause with your relationship. And I feel like, for anybody in a relationship who this reading is resonating with in 2020, that relationship will help support, a significant goal in your life, whether it's a spiritual goal or something else. So let's get into your oracle cards here. So we've got the compromise card from the Angel's Answers, and the compromise card does talk about the need to compromise here. Okay, it looks like there are some ups and downs for you this coming in 2020, and it would be a rare person who wouldn't have to compromise at some point throughout a year's time. A year is a long time. I feel like the compromise probably has to do with work more than anything, but it could be as regarding relationships as well, right? But what this card is saying, that if you want to create a happy outcome in any situation, particularly one, like, you should know what this is probably alluding to. Um, it's necessary to compromise. So allow yourself some time to become clear about what it is that you truly want. Okay. And like I said, you already are doing that, contemplating what it is that you really want, taking a break from some situation that has made you stronger. So this is saying, that you're on the right path. And by allowing yourself this time to become clear about what it is that you truly want. And this card can also be saying, to take note of any matters where you would be open to changing your position on something. Okay. So maybe you can see things from someone else's point of view when conflicts arise. That could be an important way for you to solve problems in 2020. So this card really encourages you to work toward an agreement, create win-win situations in your life, and be open to cooperation, as that will allow you to get what you need, while also, helping others to get what they need as well. And by doing this, by being objective, you find a balance between respecting your desires as well as everybody else's desires, and respecting your viewpoint as well as everyone else's viewpoint. And I know that that's important to you. I feel for you who chose this option, that you are really influenced by the sense of fairness and wanting to be fair. And so, could be some of you are a Libra, but take what resonates. Could have it in your chart. But yeah, so compromise is big in 2020, creating win-win situations. Okay. And so anything that you don't like in your life, what can you do to help that out? Visualization. Visualization is going to be big for you in 2020. Okay. And this card is saying that your clairvoyance in your dreams, the pictures in your mind's eyes, those are all going to become much more clear and more powerful in 2020 for you. So yeah, some of you could definitely be pursuing a creative and spiritual profession in 2020, because your clairvoyance and the pictures in your eye, your dreams are going to have messages for you. It's going to become sharper and better. And so this card saying, there is a lot of power in conscious visualizations, and as a tool of making things happen, right? As a tool of manifestation. Manifestation just means, making things happen. And so by this card coming out, you are guided to sit quietly, on a daily basis, as little as 5 minutes a day, and visualize yourself living a healthy, happy, abundant life, meaningful life, having the things that you want, and only visualize the things that you desire, and don't picture the things that you don't desire, because your visualizations, particularly for this group, those who chose this, are very powerful, and so you don't want to manifest those negative things. So an affirmation you can say with this card is, I am a highly visual person, and as a result, that can Get rid of any blocks that you have about clairvoyance, which means clear seeing. That'll help lift those blocks. So just know that it is safe for you to see the future, the spirit world, and the truth about your life. And release any fears that you have about your visualization powers, and that will help them to greatly magnify. That's pretty exciting, I think. I like that card for you. And so, with the ingenuity card here, number 5, Gretel. Okay. That's the next oracle card that came out for you, and this says that you will show courage under difficult circumstances. So any fears that you have about your clairvoyance or trusting in your spiritual gifts, I feel that you will be brave. You will overcome those blocks if there are any, or blocks in any other life area as well. Just know that in 2020, people are going to help you. Don't feel like you're putting anyone out. If you need help, they love helping you, is what this card is saying. Part of the reason for that is that you are probably somebody who is a true defender of your friends and your family, okay? You're somebody that others can go to when they're in trouble, and they know that you're going to have their back, that you're going to stand up for them. And I can see that here again with the Justice card, okay? It's nice how these cards are all sort of flowing into each other. So it's likely that some of you or most of you work really well in teams. So if you're on the job market, keep that in mind. This card can be saying that perhaps you need to work in a team. We did see that having allies to support you is a good idea for you in 2020. And, also that can help you to, stand up for some goal or some issue that you hold close to your heart as well. Stand up, if you stand up together as a group, it's more powerful, okay? And again, this is saying that you are, in 2020, going to be very resourceful, very quick thinking, and your protective tendencies are going to be at the forefront, okay, both for yourself and for other people, okay? And this is why people love helping you, okay? It's a very nice card. So what you've all been waiting for, I'm sure, is the Romance Angels cards here. Regarding your romance or romantic life, love life, we got keep an open mind. Your soulmate may differ from your usual type and expectation. Okay. And the Passion card, allow your heart and soul to sing with joy. So yeah, in 2020, a lot of you are going to be experiencing, passion, and it's going to be with somebody that you might not have expected it to be with. Perhaps it is somebody that is returning to your life, with that 6 of Cups, that you had never expected to be with again, or to feel passionate, or fond feelings for again, but yet, you really will be. And for others of you, since we're seeing this ending here, it could very well be that one of the many options that I see you having in 2020 could be somebody that is a bit different than what you're used to. Perhaps somebody is a bit older, a bit more stable. I don't know, I just get this feeling that perhaps because we had the Queen of Cups in reverse in your past position, that perhaps that you had been with someone who was well, the Queen of Cups in reverse is the opposite of the King of Pentacles. Let's put it that way. The Queen of Cups in reverse is, potentially, somebody who has cheated, or someone who hides their feelings, somebody who's a bit unstable, untrusting, undependable. Whereas this King of Pentacles is like the opposite of that. They are faithful. Generally speaking, the energy of this card is somebody who is stable, who is mature, who is grounded, and who is not afraid to express their feelings or their emotions when they have them. So they're just complete opposite energy of what you've been with in the past, and that's what this card is saying too. And I feel guided to read from the book on that one. Keep an open mind. Your soulmate may differ from your usual type and expectations. It says that you were sent this card as a reminder to stay open to the possibility of your soulmate appearing in a form that may differ from what you expect. And this is especially true if you tend to date a certain type of individual. Um, so, this card may be signaling that you've already been introduced to this person, but have overlooked them as a romantic partner. So take the time to get to know, the various individuals that you meet. Even if there isn't an initial attraction, at the very least you will learn more about yourself and make a new friend. But I feel like with these two cards coming out together, that there will be more than an initial attraction for most of you. As we see with the Passion card, that your prayers for great love have been heard and answered, and it all begins with you. So you have the power to revive passion in your life. In fact, no one can bring it to you better than you can. And this card says that, you know, um, you are guided to seek that which brings you great joy, such as a hobby, a cause, or a special activity. And anything that stirs your heart with joy will help passion bubble forth and positively flow into your romantic life. And so, having passion in your life attracts, more passion, including romantic passion. And you do this by, enjoying the moment completely. And perhaps this will inspire, your romantic partner to participate in your hobbies with you, which will increase your passion in your relationships. And if you are completely single and you don't have anybody in mind, this can say that, enjoying passion in your activities and hobbies might be the very thing that attracts you a wonderful partner who shares those same passions and hobbies with you. And it kind of talks, about what I said earlier about, working as a team, or attracting new allies into your life to help support you and reach your goals through, this new path that you're taking with regard to, looks like, regard to every, life area, particularly with regard to work, but, with regard to it becoming, more creative or more spiritual in your work life. And so it looks really good for you for attracting passion. You're going to have passion, so keep an open mind. And it looks like some of you are going to be meeting your soulmate in 2020, which is very positive. So that's all I have for you, option 2. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope that resonated. If it did, please leave me a comment in the comment section down below. I do like to look at the comments, even though I don't always get the chance to react to them. And like the video if you liked it, and if you'd like a personal reading, those are still 10% off until the end of 2019. The details to get one are in the description box below. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I'll talk to you next time. Welcome, option 3, to your future forecast for 2020. So I've got your tarot and oracle cards all spread out. And let's get started. So for 2020, you're showing up as the World card in reverse. So if you chose this option, showing up as the World card in reverse. So what that's saying is that, you're going to have many choices ahead of you. It's not to say there's not going to be obstacles. I do see, with this being in reverse, an obstacle that obstructs you or blocks you or your efforts. That seems like you're wasting your efforts. But, this card is saying that just go, you're going to wait things out, and things are going to, right themselves, okay? You don't need to double down or put excess amount of effort into whatever this is representing, because it's already going to work itself out. And part of this, what the obstacle could be, is a new opportunity. Some of you might be thinking about going back to school, or you might simply just have another idea with the Ace of Swords crossing you. Okay, so yeah, you're gonna have many opportunities. But you may just need to wait a little bit longer. If it's talking about your financial goals, you're just going to need to wait. Things will work themselves out. And maybe at your job you feel a little bit dissatisfied. Maybe you thought you'd be further along in your job than you are right now. But again, this is going to work itself out. And with regard to love too, don't let frustration or the way that it feels like nothing's going, like it's not going anywhere, don't let that cause you to give up, because happier times await you just around the corner here. But I feel like some of you are blocked by the happier times again, with that back to that Ace of Swords being, one of the many options or choices, many opportunities that you have available to you in 2020, option 3. And one of them might have to do with an air sign. Aquarius, Gemini, Libra could have it in their chart if it's talking about a person, but doesn't have to be. Normally, this is a very positive card in the upright position, talking about focus, new beginnings, new ideas, opportunities, truth, and clarity. Perhaps you learned some truth that makes it difficult for you to make a decision about what path you want to take or what opportunity you want to take in 2020. That could definitely resonate for some, to just take what resonates, as always. But I also get that some of you might be, you know, overthinking a situation, overthinking your choices. Sometimes too many options is a bad thing, in the sense that it just blocks us up and makes it difficult for us to see what we really want to do, or makes it more difficult for us to make up our minds about something. But certainly, an opportunity is for you in 2020, and we'll look more into it to see what that is, what that could possibly be. I feel like, excuse me, you have several opportunities. Okay, this option has a lot of opportunities being presented to you in 2020. And it could be something, as simple as, an idea regarding, making more money at your job, or increasing your finances. It could be, regarding, love with someone with whom you, inspire, who inspires you, who you have lively conversations with. It can mean a lot of different things, but I feel like, whatever this ace is representing, it is representing something that's giving you a hard time in 2020 regarding your, it's just representing something like a blockage to your opportunities. It's an opportunity that makes you feel, blocked, so to speak. So we'll look into that and see. But, your subconscious fears, influences in 2020 show up as the Nine of Cups in reverse. So, perhaps, you have some fears about getting ahead and being, too smug about your achievements, or about these new opportunities that are coming in. I feel like that's going to resonate for somebody. I'm just getting that, feeling like, almost like you don't deserve all the opportunities that are coming or getting ahead, things like that. Or that if you were to get what you want, that you would be undeserving of that. So that's some, something that you should know, so that, because, these subconscious beliefs can inform and affect the choices and decisions that we make in our lives, and so affect the outcomes. You do deserve. You are deserving. So if that resonates, then, don't let that be a hindrance to your going and progressing in 2020. Also, I feel like, you do have a tendency to be excessive or overindulgent, or someone in your life, I'm getting more that this is the viewer, has a tendency to be a little bit excessive. This card talks about excess in some area, with it being in reverse. Okay. It's wish fulfillment when it's upright. Perhaps you feel like you're not going to get your wishes fulfilled, and that is informing some of your decisions. Could also talk about an error that's coming to light. Maybe you're worried about something, a mistake that you made, or an error that you made coming to the light, or perhaps you're worried someone close to you is going to be proved to be not what they seem. It could, for some of you, it could mean, that you're going to continue on this route of becoming more spiritual. That could be too. But you're just going to want to, err on the side of being more cautious, more moderate, with regard to your spending. There is a fear with you that you risk, putting your money into a bad situation, or a bad venture, not handling your finances well. Be careful with that, because fears can create the thing that we're afraid of. So if that resonates, then, pull back on the fear, have more confidence, be a little bit more cautious with your spending. At work, I feel like some of you might be tempted to play on the job a little bit too much. And just be warned that if you do that, if you kind of blow off your responsibilities a little too much, I mean, we're all human, we do that from time to time, but if you do it too much in 2020, there could be a mistake that you made that would be found out at your job. So I want to be cautious about that. And also, maybe you have fears around, your coworkers or the people around you at your job being unscrupulous, or getting you involved in something that that isn't for your highest interest or highest good. Excuse me. And with regards to love, I feel like either you have dealt with somebody who is like frivolous or careless, promiscuous or insensitive in a relationship, or you have fears about being that way yourself. So you want to be careful with that, because if this is talking about you, this you're going to be found out. If you're involved in any sort of cheating or indiscretion, you're going to be found out in 2020. But if this is someone else, they're going to be found out. That's a possibility if that resonates. If it doesn't, don't take it. So in the past, we've got, your hopes were dashed with the star card in reverse. It's Aquarius energy. Could be in someone's chart, but doesn't have to be. It says that you likely, yeah, faced some or dealt with some disillusionment here, and were unable to trust in the process or trust in yourself about something. Or maybe you're just keeping to yourself. You're more of a private person in the past leading up to 2020. Instead of shining your light on the world, you're just keeping it to yourself. I feel like, you are on a spiritual path rather than material. But also I feel like you may have been devitalized or suffering from some low self-esteem, perhaps some depression at this time going into 2020, which I don't think is uncommon this time of year, as a side note. But I feel like you're going to be attuning yourself to what your soul really needs. And you're going to be feeling more energized in who you truly are, okay? So it could be this depression or this disappointment comes in the form of having, your hopes delayed with regards to some payment that is owed you. We got the sense of, with the World card in reverse, that you're trying really hard and your efforts don't bear the fruit that you want it to, or the timing wasn't right, but you're guided not to give up because you have a lot of opportunities. The main obstacle for you in 2020 will simply be which opportunity to choose, which opportunity to seize. I feel like, you might be the type that hides your light under a bushel at your job. So again, keeping, your light to yourself. Maybe that's because you don't realize your true abilities. And so as a result, you haven't gotten ahead in the working world as quickly as you could have. So I feel like, a lot of you have been disenchanted at your job, again, with this lack of inspiration, right? And if it's talking about love, it's saying that your expectations might have been unrealistic up till now. And so if you're searching for perfection, just know that that can never be attained. And if that doesn't apply to you, then maybe it's that you just aren't seeing, a partner or a love interest or a relationship very clearly going into 2020. So in 2020, what you need to know, or what you do know rather, and what your goals and ideals will likely be, is I feel like that you're going to be feeling like giving up on something. With the Seven of Wands in reverse, giving up on something perhaps is giving up on seeing things unclearly, or not seeing a partner clearly, or perhaps it's giving up on hiding your bushel or hiding your light under a bushel, and not really seeing your value, which in those cases, that's a good thing to give up on. Just sort of surrendering your fears about yourself, and allowing your inner light to shine. I think that that in order to make some of these changes, in order to seize the right opportunity for you, that you have to face some confusion, deal with that, get through that. I think that for those that this is resonating with, these opportunities that I'm talking about, some of them you can probably guess what they're going to be in some life area here, and that you're going to have to deal with the confusion about that. You're going to need to decide how to handle whatever challenges that may arise as a result of these opportunities, and you're going to need to choose which direction to take to accomplish your objectives regarding those. So I feel like that it's going to be taxing on your willpower. It's going to make you feel like giving up. And I feel like you're prepared for that, but also kind of dreading that, right? So even though, if things change for the better for you, even good changes come with a certain amount of stress, and you're well aware of that. I feel like you ideally would like to just own that fact and surrender to it and go in with your eyes wide open and be prepared. Um, I think that some of these opportunities might cost money, or you know that some unexpected expenses may result from some of these opportunities. If it's talking about traveling, if it's talking about starting a new business, um, if it's talking about dating, getting back out in the dating field, it's going to be new outfits, new hairstyles, things like that. It's funny how everything costs money, right? So that card can be talking about that as well. And it's saying, you just may need to set some firm guidelines with regard to your spending. And if you find yourself in a pickle regarding your finances, just seek assistance from someone else. Don't be too proud to ask for help if you need to. And again, this card is asking you to, in the workplace, is asking you to be cautious and to avoid, problematic people at your job. I feel like, maybe some of you have to deal with competitors. Maybe that's been a pattern for you in the past, or with whatever it is that you're considering doing in the future. That there's going to be competition. Perhaps you're thinking about entering into a new study program. There's competition to get into that program. So you're going to really be, sort of on your guard with regards to that. And this card is saying, um, don't give up on watching your back. So that's the one thing you shouldn't give up on. You should be in a more guarded position if that's resonating with you in the workplace. Could be that there's some people you need to avoid that don't have your best interests at heart. So just avoid, like arguments. Or maybe that in order to quit a job to go to a better one, for instance, that might cause a confrontation in the workplace, or a difficult conversation at the very least. So you're just being guided to choose your battles carefully. I think already that you will do that. And ideally, you want to choose the best opportunity for you. You want to choose your battles correctly. You want to make the right decisions here. And with regard to a relationship, you're probably feeling pretty worn down with regards to some problems that you're having in your connection. Maybe this person is the one that you're having difficulties or differences with. It could be not your coworkers, but perhaps this person, or maybe a little bit of both. This card is a good card to talk about counseling, getting personal counseling to sort of work out your problems with regards to making up your mind about some of these personal situations that you're going to be dealing with here in 2020 that are going to cause you some difficulty. It's kind of difficulty that we all face and deal with. I'm not saying like a tower moment or anything here. It's more just, valuing yourself, working on some of this depression that I see with the star in reverse, this self-esteem issue that keeps you, has you keeping your light under a bushel, hiding your light from the world, so that, probably because you've been in a competitive work environment or experienced some sort of environment where you needed to watch your back. And so you just try not to shine. But I think this is taking a real toll on your self-esteem. So some of you might be seeking therapy, and if that resonates, you probably already know that. I think that's a good thing, because you're getting more spiritual. And in the near future, we've got the Hierophant card, and that talks about spiritual authority. It talks about leadership. It talks about mentorship. So I feel like some of you might be doing like BetterHelp.com or something like that. I'm not, sponsor of theirs, or they're not a sponsor of mine. Just saying, like, some sort of accessible therapy to help you sort of sort through some of these issues. And that's what the Hierophant can be talking about. Getting that mentorship from somebody with the knowledge and the education and the skills to do that and help you with it. A neutral third party who can help guide you through some of these issues. Could be like a priest or somebody, in your religion or in your spiritual community. With the Hierophant being a spiritual card. But it certainly does talk about, having a mentor who you can confide in and get advice from. And I feel like, as a result, in the future, you really are going to be living according to your own personal beliefs, okay? And you might hook up with some sort of an organization or get more involved in a spiritual community where like-minded individuals who could help you to feel more secure and stable in yourself, okay? Because there are some changes going on, some things, even positive, happy changes, like I said, can create stress. So you're going to want to get rid of those negative people in your life and replace them with positive people. And this card can be saying that's what's going to happen in the future here. So this is going to serve you. It's going to give you security. I feel like you need some stability in your life going forward. You need to feel like you have allies, people in your corner. This is going to help you achieve your goals, okay? And you might even emerge as, excuse me, the leader in this particular group or amongst your friends. Or you might be aspiring to assume that position, or have a close relationship with someone who is in a leadership type position. And that could be as well. Okay. So for, excuse me, my goodness. For a couple of you, you could be entering into a committed relationship, as this card can indicate a commitment. I'm just going to put that out there. That's for a couple of you. But I do feel like you're going to be learning a lot, and you're also going to be teaching a lot. Okay. And it's going to be a valuable service that you receive and that you provide for those around you. And I feel like you're going to stabilize all life areas, including your money, aligning yourself, taking these steps, aligning yourself with new friends, whatever this card represents for you, as I'm reading for thousands of people. So apply it to your situation as it fits. This is going to help you, financially. It's going to put less of the emphasis on the material world, more on the spiritual world, but also, it's going to have you being more practical with your money, as this is a practical card. Okay. And also, I feel like once you make a decision regarding, one of these opportunities that I see here for you, you will be, you'll be willing and ready to sort of like follow the rules in order to succeed in whatever system, if that's a corporate structure or a religious organization or an educational system, whatever this represents for you. You're going to be willing to go along with it, but first, you're going to really commit to it 100%. But first, you want to make sure that you make the right decision, right? Because we see that that you need to choose your battles wisely and get the right allies in your corner in order to create or do something that's really going to profit you and benefit you. But once you make that decision, you're definitely going to commit to it 100%. And I feel like you're going to hold a position that others will look up to you or be closely associated with someone who does. And, again, for those who are involved in a commitment or a relationship that could likely end up in commitment in 2020, it will be more of a traditional commitment. And it will be based in a spiritual connection, okay, where the two of you are really coming together to serve a higher cause, whether you know what that cause is or not. Your relationship is going to support your spirituality, okay? Sometimes that's not the easiest path, if you know the difference between like a karmic relationship and other types of soulmate relationships. But all I'm getting here is that this is, if it's a relationship, it's something that's going to be more traditional and more spiritual. So, how are you going to approach this in 2020? What's your state of mind going to be? What's your approach in 2020 going to be? It's going to be that of a child, sort of, it's going to be with some level of innocence, because this is something new that you're taking on here. This new opportunity or opportunities that you're going to embrace is going to have you sort of as a novice or as a page. This is a Page of Cups. Some of you might be water signs, but don't have to be, but you'll be approaching it with that energy. So you're going to definitely be open once you make your decision here about what opportunities you want to embrace. And it could be different opportunities over the course of the year. But it's saying, that you will be open to those opportunities. And, at times you might be a little naive or, feeling like you're unsure or insecure about, how to handle opportunities, what to do, because this is new for you. Whenever you're doing something new, you have to have the courage to try, right? You have to have the courage to be bad at something until you get good at it. Not to say you're going to be bad at it, but I'm just making a point that this makes us all feel, when we're trying something new, kind of like a kid again. And I feel like it's going to be a positive because you are in the upright. And so You're still going to be dealing with these self-esteem issues, even though if you're starting to work on them through your spirituality or through receiving therapy. However, you're choosing to work on these self-esteem issues, if that part of the reading resonates with you. But I feel like it's going to be getting better, and that's the approach that you're going to take to it. You might want to be careful, though, not to give your power away, not to become codependent on those around you who might be older or wiser, more in the know, more knowledgeable. You might have a tendency to sort of put too much trust into people with this page. So I feel, saying, keep your own power. Yes, you can be a student and learn something new. And there's a certain amount of humility that goes along, and trust that goes along with that. But also, hold your own counsel as well and listen to your own inner voice. Continue to do that as well. If you do go back to school, some of you might be going back to school for something to do with artistic ability. Could be some of you are studying the tarot or esoteric arts like that. It says, yeah, definitely getting the sense of dealing with emotional issues here. That has you feeling perhaps a little bit unprepared, but I wonder what this is about. We'll look further, but I'm looking here. As this is a page of cups, cups talks about emotions, it could very well be talking about the early stages of a new romance, or a new phase in an existing romance, right? That has you feeling young and invulnerable again here. But I do feel that your approach to your year of 2020 is going to be one based in perhaps connections with children or younger relatives, friends, student and teacher type dynamics, whether formally in school or just in your life in general. It's going to have to do, your approach is going to be, imaginative, sensitive, with a certain amount of idealism to it. Yeah. And some of you will be, starting a new job. That is one of the opportunities that I'm seeing in this spread here, probably in the creative arts, or if not art, then something creative. That could be anything that, brings out your creative abilities. Or again, like studying, your skills in order to improve your marketability, something like that. And just know that there is going to be a need, again, to stand up for yourself in the workplace. And that whatever new thing that you're starting, be it a relationship, new job, new course of study, if you feel shy or vulnerable or uncertain, just know that that is normal, but still stand up for yourself when it's needed, and don't give too much of yourself or trust too much too easily. You need to make sure that people aren't taking advantage of you, because while you're coming across with this very innocent approach, unfortunately, that people can mistake kindness for weakness and try to take advantage of that. So it's not saying, to put on this really tough exterior or whatever. It's just saying be knowledgeable and cognizant of that. And you will do just fine, because you have a lot to offer. You definitely have a lot to offer here. And I feel like you know it. But you are learning so much in 2020. And with regards to the people or circumstances in your environment around you, we've got the Seven of Swords in reverse. So we did see that there could be some unscrupulous people or some competition in the workplace, or perhaps with regards to love, whatever that might apply. And the Seven of Swords upright talks about somebody, taking from you or behaving sneakily. But it's, fortunately, it's in reverse. So, that lessens some of the impact to some degree. It could say that people around you are going to be acting without thinking, or being overly cautious, afraid to act. Somebody in your environment could do that, and it could affect you in some way. I also get with that somebody might be coming clean with you about a mistake. So we saw earlier that there was somebody coming clean about a mistake. It could be you, but with this showing up in your environment section of people around you, then it's probably someone else who is coming clean about a mistake and trying to make it up to you. Um, it could be somebody, again, who either thinks, like, acts without thinking, behaves impetuously, or is overly cautious and afraid to act. And it's also somebody. This card could represent somebody who likes to experiment with a lot of different plans, get a lot of various different points of view. Kind of like a Libra energy I'm getting, but not like not an empowered Libra, more like the shadow side of Libra. So yeah, if somebody comes to you with like a get rich quick scheme or gambling or other shady behaviors, you want to steer clear of them, to protect your money. They might view you as vulnerable with your vulnerable approach. So be careful, of an individual like this. Could be any sign. This is, likely someone in your environment who gets their things or money from or considering getting their things or their money through underhanded means, like shadily, in a shady way. And again, it can talk about deception in the workplace or dishonesty. So you're really going to want to, again, it keeps coming up, so I have to keep repeating myself, to separate yourself from any dishonesty or deception or unscrupulous people in the workplace, whether it's a new workplace or an old workplace, okay? Perhaps it's an old workplace and that's why you're leaving, right? But, just this card can be saying to stay open-minded and flexible, to respond quickly to any changes that are occurring around you here. And don't allow yourself to be taken advantage of. And with regards to love, I feel like it can be someone who is apologizing for a mistake or an injury. And, perhaps they've betrayed you or manipulated or hurt you in some way. But I feel like now they want to make that up to you. They could even want to assist you, if in one of these new endeavors, these new opportunities here. Or like help you through some challenge. It could be there's some unscrupulous person around you and your love interest sees their true colors before you do and wants to warn you against that. Or some risky course of action. I'm getting that. That could apply for one or two people. Of course, yeah, I'm getting that more than that it's the love interest who's being shady. If this is representing a love interest, they want to apologize for something. If it's representing a coworker or somebody else around you, there's somebody you want to steer clear of. So, with regards to what your focus will be, or what the universe wants you to know in 2020, is we've got the Five of Wands in reverse. So Five of Wands in reverse in that position is kind of interesting, because this is what the universe wants you to know, or it could even be like what you're hoping to happen here. Hoping the ego battles will end, hoping the confusion will come to an end, right? It's saying that in 2020, it's going to be a time to adapt to challenging situations, okay? And that certain old attitudes or behaviors that you might have or have had up to this point, those need to be let go of, okay? So the universe wants you to know that you need to seek compromise, or else nobody wins here. Wins with regard to some challenge in 2020 that you'll be facing. It's another card saying, don't get involved in anything questionable or any risky practices in 2020. Be careful who you trust. That's coming through so strongly for option 3. It can warn against unwise investments or loss of money due to impracticality, stubbornness, or confusion. So watch out for those. You're going to want to be very sure and very clear on where your money is going in 2020 to avoid any losses. And again, this can talk about, backbiting in the workplace or competition here. This card does indicate, to seek the higher ground, to avoid compromising your principles. But remember, we we've got you here saying that you need to make sure you stand up for yourself when necessary as well. So it all comes back to what you already know, which is that you need to choose your battles wisely in 2020. And with regard to like a love affair or a love connection, it's saying that you need to be more flexible and resolve your disputes here. Again, compromise or nobody wins here. It could show that if you are with a partner in 2020, for those of you this resonates with, there might be a period or a point in time where you're both being self-centered or selfish. So that's what's going to require you to try to see from the other's point of view. Okay. So if you are in a relationship in 2020 and you notice that you guys are fighting a lot or in some sort of a dispute, you're guided to be more flexible, less selfish, less self-centered, and your person needs to be that way as well, right? It takes two, and you need to both see from each other's point of views to resolve that. And in your outcome, we've got the Page of Wands. So another page card here. A lot of new energy for you in 2020. The Page of Wands is someone who is adventurous, playful, innocent, questing, learning. Somebody is curious. So it's almost like, you guys are going to be starting something so new that it's going to feel like a quest. It's going to really pique your curiosity and teach you a lot. It could be talking about travel with the wands as well. Receiving a message. I'm seeing an emotional message could be coming to you, option 3, and a passionate message as well. I feel like, again, it's talking about the early stages of an undertaking or a situation. So some of you might be starting to be self-employed in 2020. That might be the opportunity that you're seizing. And you will definitely have like an optimistic attitude. You're going to feel eager to succeed and enthusiastic, okay, regarding whatever opportunity this is. Some of you might be working as an assistant. Again, that kind of goes back to that Hierophant card. But I feel like you're going to feel like a kid again in a lot of ways, regardless of your age. And you're really going to enjoy yourself here and have some fun. By taking the advice from Spirit from the reading regarding your finances, you could really find a new investment that has the potential to pay off. And it's probably something that's based in creativity. Again, back to creativity. Using your creativity in some way can be profitable for you. And again, it is alluding to the fact that you're probably going to be starting a new job or being self-employed, starting a new business, or doing something new with regard to your work. And you're going to enjoy that a lot. With it, you're going to learn a lot of new skills, or again, back to the school or education program scenario, you're preparing yourself for a new career. Okay. And in terms of love and romance, it says that there's going to be honesty and openness and an optimistic attitude towards love for those of you who resonates with that. I'm getting sort of the early stages, the blush of romance with these two pages here. So again, either a new phase in an existing relationship, or a new relationship. Okay. But it will be one that is full of innocence and playfulness, and you'll have a playful and affectionate approach to this relationship. So the oracle cards that we've got here, this is where I was talking about opportunities. Opportunities abound. Look, we've got opportunity card here from the Angel Answers, and we've got a new opportunity from Healing with the Fairies. So I was not kidding. The tarot card spoke of a lot of new opportunity in 2020 for you, option 3, and so did the oracle cards. There is some chance, I feel like some of you will know what, this main opportunity is that you've been wanting. It's a chance that you've been waiting for, something that you've been wanting to take action on, some idea that you've been wanting to put into action. And it could be talking about any life area: romance, work, family, home. I feel like you're really going to be creating changes, whatever your desires are. You're creating positive changes. You're really putting in the effort to make these changes, and you're going to get your chance to implement some idea that you had. Maybe it's been a long time coming, some idea that you've had, but obstacles kept happening, and that's why that idea was crossing you early on in the reading, because you feel like it's never going to happen. This card is saying that it is. There's a high possibility that whatever idea that you've had that you've been wanting to put into action for a while has a very high likelihood of happening in 2020. And with the new opportunity card, it's basically saying the same thing. It wants you to know that it is safe for you to enter into this new realm of possibilities here. You are qualified, like I was saying earlier, you are qualified and deserving as anyone to move to the next level in your life. So whether it's a romantic proposal, a business proposal, an investment, an idea, or even a loss that allows you to have something even better, these are going to benefit your life. And so notice and embrace these new opportunities is what these two cards are saying. And then from the Fairy Tale Oracle, we got the White Snake Understanding, number 35. That breaks down to an 8 in numerology. That's the executive. And I am really getting this sort of vibe of being the executive of your life, calling the shots, even as a student, or someone who's learning a new skill and might feel unqualified. There's this energy of being on such a path that will lead you to really being a shot caller in your life. With the White Snake, it talks about understanding too. Okay? So using your understanding, can you see that? Okay. This talks about being bold, making sacrifices, doing good deeds, and those good deeds will be rewarded. Okay. It also talks about not making any excuses. No excuses can be made when you're confronted with the truth. So we saw earlier that some truth was going to be revealed, and once you have that clarity, you're going to be able to make some decisions about your life where it's going to require you to be really honest and perhaps make a sacrifice. So again, there might be some sort of a loss in one of your lives that will sting, but will be for the better and will open you up to something better coming in. But so no excuses when you're confronted by the truth. And it also talks about being humble, this card. And it says that, the humblest creatures have much to offer. The humblest creatures have the most to offer. And, this could be even talking about, a pet. Somebody might be getting a new pet. Somebody might be helping animals. That could be, a new career venture, a new hobby. Helping animals could be involved in some way with that card. Okay? But definitely want to be bold and that your good deeds will be rewarded in 2020. And finally, with regards to relationship, I pulled a relationship, romance angels card. Give your relationship a chance. Work on your partnership. So yeah, when I was saying, that perhaps you'll be entering into a new phase in an existing relationship with these pages, particularly the Page of Cups and the Page of Wands, new phase in the relationship, I'm led to believe that a lot of you are involved with a partner or in an existing connection or have someone in mind romantically, as this card does talk about give your relationship a chance and work on your partnership. Okay? So if somebody comes forth to, if some indiscretion comes to light and somebody owns it and comes forth and apologizes to you, I feel like a lot of you will be forgiving that person, and that if you do give your relationship another chance, that you won't regret it, that it will be worth it, okay, to give the relationship another chance. feel guided to read from the book on that. Let me grab that real quick. It says that the angels see that your relationship is worth devoting effort to. Although there may be issues, these can be worked through and healed. You'll need to commit to the relationship to ensure the best chance of success. At the very least, if you do end it, you'll know that you gave it your all. You'll also understand the role that you played in its dynamics. Understanding, that came out, right? So a deeper level of understanding regarding a particular relationship is shown here. So regardless if it doesn't work out or if it does, giving it another chance will only benefit you. And you'll understand your own role in that. And in that way, you can avoid attracting similarly painful situations in the future. But it does say that there still is hope for your partnership and that the love is still there. And working with a counselor may be your best option at this point. Okay, so this professional can identify areas of dysfunction and guide you both in healthier directions. Perfect. All right. Well, that's all I've got for you. Option 3. Yours ran even longer than the previous 2. I hope you hung in there, and I hope that you found value in the reading. And if you did, please let me know in the comment section below. I do like to read the comments, although I can't always respond to them all. If you'd like a personal reading, my contact information is in the description box below. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. And if you do, you can hit the bell notification to receive notifications when I upload a new video. Like the video if you liked it, and I'll talk to you next time.